Hi everyone, Mark Savage here and welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about the emotional guidance scale. This is the emotional guidance scale right here. And the way you can find it in the book Ask and It Is Given. You can find it online. In fact, I'll provide a link in the description below. And it's this scale, the emotional guidance scale, that I use to live my life every single day. Now, I'm going to show you the scale, and I'll show you. I'll give you a link so you can see it better. All right, but you have 22 emotions on this scale. There's more, and it's a little complicated as far as the specifics of it. But it's not. You don't have to worry about it being so specific, right? So you have 1 through 22. I'll read a few of them. So number 1 is joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. These are the top emotions on the scale. Nothing feels better than joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. Nothing feels better than that, right? And then you work your way down to number 2 is passion. Number 3 is enthusiasm, eagerness, and happiness. Number 4 is positive expectation and belief. Number 5 is optimism. Number 6 is hopefulness. Number 7 is contentment. All right, and that's 7 right here. Now, the way Abraham explains this or describes this is the top half of the scale and the bottom half of the scale. But to understand, when I talk about the top half, I'm talking about 7 and above. You can see I highlighted it here, 7 and above, right? Because even though there are 22, making 11 truly the middle, they show more negative emotions than they do positive emotions. All right, so just to give you an idea of some of the negative emotions, I'm not going to go through all of them. Number 8 is boredom. 9 is pessimism. 10 is frustration, irritation, impatience. 11 is overwhelming. 12 is disappointment. And it works its way down, all the way down to 22, which is fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. Now, I can honestly say that I don't remember the last time I was that low on the emotional scale. It's years and years and years and years. And not just since I've started doing the work with Abraham Hicks, but I was fortunate to really pretty much be a happy-go-lucky guy. And I rarely was down really low in that scale. Today, the way I use the emotional scale is a little bit different. So I know, for example, when I feel that I'm on the top half of the scale, right? So when you talk about contentment, that's the bottom of the top half of the scale, like number 7, contentment. So contentment, basically what contentment is I'm just relaxed, chilling, hanging out, feeling good. Right? I'm not feeling happy. I'm not, I'm not passionate. I'm not joyful. I'm not feeling love. I'm just content. Just life's good. Just hanging out. It's all good, right? Kind of like when you're hanging out, having a cup of coffee, sipping a beer with a friend or whatever. Same kind of idea of what contentment is. That's the lowest on the top half of the scale, and I'm rarely below that. When I do go below that, boredom, which is the next one down. I have to say, at least for me, when I hit boredom, pessimism, frustration, when I get below that top half of the scale, I know and I feel it. It feels terrible. And when I say terrible, fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness, yeah, those all feel terrible. But I can't even relate to those because I don't get down there. Boredom, pessimism, frustration, irritation, impatience, those 8, 9, 10, those feel awful to me. They feel like the worst feeling in the world. And that's because I spend so much time on the top half of the scale. And so when I'm off, a little bit off, I know and I can feel it. Now, there's a little spot here between 7 and 8, between contentment and boredom. And it's not really a spot, right? It's, Abraham calls it the fulcrum, right? It's kind of like where when you aren't feeling content anymore, you're kind of at boredom, maybe a little bit above boredom, and you're like, you're done. I've had enough. I have had enough of this, whatever this is, right? So it's a good place to be. It's kind of like where you give up the bottom half of the scale. You give up those negative emotions. You give up the anger, the boredom, the pessimism, the grief. You give all that up and just focus on feeling good. You find a way to get to contentment and above. There's a wonderful thing about the law of attraction, and just to be clear here, there is only law of attraction. There is no law of assertion. So if somebody says something to me that upsets me, says something mean, calls me a jerk, anything, whatever, right? I attracted that. And that's where a lot of people get into trouble. It's not a matter of that person asserting into your experience calling me a jerk. It's me and my vibration attracting that from them. All right? There's no assertion, only attraction. That's why it's so important. That's why this scale right here, this scale is so important, because you need to know where you are. If you're in anger, all right, anger, where's anger? Oh, wow, anger's way down there, 17. Let's not go down that far. Let's go to 10. Frustration, irritation, and impatience. That's kind of like the lowest I get. That's my anger zone is here, right? I don't get that far down. So the idea is that if I'm in frustration, and I'm feeling frustration right now, if I go out and about, living my life, dating, throughout the day, engaging with people, interacting with people, and having experiences, the experiences I have are going to be negative experiences. They're going to all be attracted from that emotional place of frustration. So what am I going to attract? I'm going to attract experiences that make me more frustrated, or worse. They may take me from frustration. They may take me down to overwhelmment or disappointment, right? But it's because of my vibration in the lower end of the scale that's attracting these negative experiences to me. And so the way I use the emotional scale, not so much anymore, the way I used to use the emotional scale is I want to know how I was feeling and where I was. And so if I was off a little bit, I'd try to take out the scale and get a sense of where I am. I don't do that so much anymore today. It doesn't seem convenient. And again, if I'm off, I know it, right? If I'm not feeling happy, if I'm not feeling contentment, and I'm feeling below contentment, so I'm off, I know it. I don't need to check the scale and say, oh, I wonder where I am. I wonder if I'm in discouragement or pessimism. It doesn't matter. I know I'm not feeling good. I know my vibration is off. So what do? I use some of the processes in the book. There are 22 processes in this book, toward the back of the book. 22 processes that will help you either, if you're feeling good, feel better. And if you're not feeling good, work your way up the scale so that you feel good, right? That's how I use it. I don't break out the scale and say, ooh, Logan just did something that really upset me. I'm very frustrated with him right now. So let me go look. Oh yeah. I don't do that, right? I know I'm feeling frustrated. I know I'm off. And if I'm feeling frustrated, it's very, very clear to me that I am no longer in the top half of the scale. And so rather than saying, that kid is naughty, and I want to punish him, and I want to beat him up, or whatever it is that I want to do to him, I don't stay there. I don't focus on that. I don't focus on the thing that he did or the way it's making me feel, because that doesn't help me. It keeps me focused on what's upsetting me. It keeps me focused in a place on the lower half of the scale. So I want to get myself back up. So what do? Depends upon where I am, and I look for the next best feeling thought. So if I'm in frustration, I might be thinking to myself, that kid, if you only just listen to me, I wouldn't have this problem, right? So that's where I am. So then I say, well, he does listen to me sometimes. Well, that feels better than he doesn't listen to me, right? So I move myself up a little bit. So he does listen to me sometimes, and he usually does what I want him to do. I move myself up a little bit, and I keep doing that until I feel good about Logan. And again, it's about whatever it is that you're upset about. If you got into a car accident and you're angry at the driver, you want to work your way up the scale for the driver, whatever it is. Because here's the thing, and I'm not going to tell you that when I'm upset that I don't want to be upset, that I want to be even more upset, right? In fact, often when I'm upset, it feels natural to stay focused on that which gets me upset, to be more upset, right? That's what most of us will do. And that's, while we can do that, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't help us feel better. And that's the whole thing here. You want to feel good. Remember, if it's only law of attraction, if there's no law of assertion, if there's only law of attraction, then we attract based on our vibration. Our vibration is our emotion. So if I'm feeling angry, and I'm going to go out and about and engage with people and engage in experiences, those people and experiences are going to attract to me. I'm going to attract angry experiences or experiences that make me angry or make me feel angry, because that's where I am. I'm attracting from a place of anger or frustration or whatever it is, right? Same thing when you're feeling good. You attract from the top half of the scale, and you attract things that make you feel good. So using the top half of the scale, and let's use optimism as the emotion that I'm feeling, right? So if I feel optimistic and I focus on where I am and I continue staying optimistic and focus on things that make me feel optimistic, then I'm going to attract more experiences that are optimistic in nature and make me feel good. And that's how I try to live my life every day. For the most part, I use a lot of the processes in this book. I use them ahead of time, right? And there are a number of processes when you first start out. Like one of the first processes is, I think, rampage of appreciation. And the way you use a rampage of appreciation is you feel good. You're presently feeling appreciation, you feel good. And then you talk more about it. So here's an example of a rampage of appreciation. And I do this every morning when I'm at the gym. I finish up my workout, I'm getting ready to go shower. And as I'm walking to the shower, I start doing appreciation. And it goes something like this. I so appreciate this life. I appreciate this day. I appreciate this wonderful gym. And the wonderful people who keep the gym clean, who make sure there's plenty of soap in the shower and shampoo in the shower. And there's always a shower ready for me. They keep the showers clean. I appreciate all the staff that keeps the shower clean and does the workouts and the classes. And I appreciate the outdoor pool area. And I'm not going to keep going, but like that. And I just keep talking about the things about the gym that I appreciate. And I do like a rampage for like 10, 15 minutes of just things that I appreciate. And here's the power of this. I'm already feeling good because I woke up, I meditated, I did a bunch of stuff. And I'll do a separate video on kind of like all the processes I use and how I use them. But I wake up, I do my meditation, I do my thing, we go to the gym, Bella and I, we work out, and then I do my rampage of appreciation as I'm getting ready to leave the gym. So by the time I'm leaving the gym, I am just peaked. I am feeling love and appreciation. I'm at the super top end of the emotional scale. I mean, I'm way up here. And I may not be sitting at 1, but I'm probably bouncing between 1 and 3. All right, and I do that because I do that rampage of appreciation first thing in the morning to make sure that I get my vibration really going, but really going good, really going feeling good. Okay, and there are a bunch of other processes. So one of the processes that I use is, I forget what it's called, but it's basically looking for the better feeling thought. I explained that already, right? So like if Logan does something that upsets me, I know, and I'm off, right? I know it, I feel it right here, right where the emotional complex, right? I feel that offness. So I will do my best to think thoughts that are slightly better, right? So I'm upset with Logan, as I said, but he did whatever. He broke the TV. Okay, never happened. Just using it as an example. He broke the TV, so I'm all frustrated. He broke the TV. I gotta buy a new TV. Right? That's what happens. We get all upset. And then, so I can start with, he doesn't take care of anything. He breaks everything, right? So this is where I am in frustration, and I'm saying all these quote-unquote negative things. But then I might say something like, he doesn't always break everything. That feels better. And quite often, he takes care of stuff, and he makes sure that the TV is taken care of. And like that, I work my way up from down below the top half to above the top half. That's the thing, right? So that's, I forget what it's called, but basically I'm looking for the next best feeling thought, right? Because I can't be sitting in frustration and attract love. It's too far apart, right? Because frustration's way down here, right? And then love is way up here. And the way the law of attraction works is you can't attract very differently than your vibration. If your vibration is one of love, you'll attract lots of love. If your vibration is one of frustration, you'll attract more frustration. Now the way it works is, you can't go from 10 to 1. You can go from 10 to 9. You can go from 9 to 8, from 8 to 7, from 7 to 6, 6 to 5, and the like. And you work your way up, slowly, up the emotional scale. And again, in Asking It Is Given, in the back of the book, there are 22 various processes that you can use at various levels on the emotional scale that will help you either feel better. Well, feel better. It's always about feeling better, right? Because unless I feel pure love and joy, I can feel better, right? Because if I'm optimistic, that's good, but I can feel better. I can feel happy and joy, right? So I can always feel better. So that's the goal. You're always looking for the next best feeling thought. So if I'm in frustration about Logan breaking the TV, again, he never broke the TV, it never happened, but if I'm upset about it, right, then I'm going to think whatever thoughts I'm thinking about being upset about it, and then I got to work the next level up. So again, I'm so frustrated, he doesn't take care of anything, he breaks all his stuff, and then I'm like, well, that's not true. He doesn't break everything, he takes care of a lot of his stuff. Well, that feels better. And it's very rare that I have to replace something he's broken. He very rarely breaks anything. It feels better. And in fact, he usually takes care of all his stuff, especially this important stuff, right? So I'm working my way up the scale. That's one of the techniques, one of the processes in this book that I use to work myself up the scale to feeling good. I always want to feel good. Now, let's be clear. You can't always feel good. And there are going to be times that something happens where you're moved from the top half of the scale to the bottom half of the scale. And that's okay. In fact, it's a good thing because you know your emotional guidance system is working. If you go from feeling good to feeling not good, you know it. So you should be appreciative. Wow, I so appreciate my emotional vibration system that teaches me, that's showing me that I'm off, that I'm showing me that I have some work to do to improve my vibration so I can have a better life experience. Okay? And that's what it's all about. And it's okay to drop to the bottom half. It's okay to be frustrated. The thing is, where people get confused is when someone like myself says, you don't want to go to the bottom half of the scale, you want to focus your efforts on staying on the top half of the scale, you want to focus your energy on the top half of the scale, you want to focus your thoughts on the top half of the scale. I'm not saying don't ever feel negative emotion. It's impossible to never feel negative emotion. You have an emotional guidance system that's working, therefore you feel all the emotions. That's a good thing. You want to feel all the emotions. What's important, though, is to recognize that you are on the lower half of the scale. It's not where you want to be because it doesn't feel good to be on the lower half of the emotional scale. And that now you're going to do the work, whatever that work is, whatever that process is, whatever it is you're going to do to move yourself from lower on the scale to higher on the scale. Right? Again, it's not bad to feel negative emotion. I'm never going to tell anybody to not feel a negative emotion. You can't avoid feeling negative emotion if you feel negative. And it's good that you do because it means your emotional guidance system is working. And that's one of the most important things that we have in our bodies is this emotional guidance system, so we know where we are on the emotional scale. Because everything's attraction, and it is. And you want to attract the best life you can live. You can't do that feeling angry. You can't do that from the bottom half of the scale. You can't be in despair. You can't be in depression and live a happy life. Anybody that's ever been depressed before knows that. You can't do it, right? But you can move yourself from depression to feeling good and then have a happy life. So the key here is, and again, I'm going to put the emotional scale in the comments section so you have a copy of it, and I will do another video on all the various processes that I use and all the processes in general. But the idea is to know how you feel first and foremost. Most important thing is to know how you feel. Now, for some of you, it may not be as simple as just feeling good and feeling bad and knowing the difference, right? You know, for me, my first experience with the emotional scale and trying to understand my emotions didn't go well. I really struggled with it because I wasn't really, excuse me, I wasn't really that connected with my emotions. You know, I'm a guy, we live in a society where guys shouldn't feel emotion, and so I practiced that for a big portion of my life, where now I know those emotions. I may not know each nuanced emotion. Like, for example, if I'm feeling positive expectation or belief, right? I don't necessarily know that I went from that to enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness. I didn't know I went from positive expectation to enthusiasm. I'm not going to notice that kind of difference. It's minor, right? But I will feel better. I will feel better. And either way, I feel good. Where you really start to notice shifts is when you're in the lower half of the scale. So let's take overwhelming. Let's say you're feeling overwhelmed. Well, if you do that process that I explained, where you try to think the next best feeling thought, you're going to go from overwhelmment to frustration. And while that's not going to go from overwhelmment feeling bad to frustration feeling good, that won't be the case. It will be overwhelmment feeling bad, frustration feels a little bit better, not as bad. And that's the key, being able to sense the difference in your emotions and knowing that you're feeling better and working your way up to feeling good. That's the whole idea behind the emotional scale. As I said, I live this. This is the way I live my life every day. I'm living the best, happiest life I've ever lived. I'm 53 years old, and my life just gets better and better and better. And I could look back and find all sorts of things in my life that others might say were bad. And I will tell you that every experience I've had, I appreciate, regardless of how bad it may seem to somebody else. And with that, I appreciate you watching the video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. I hope that if you enjoyed it, you smash that like button so that I get some traction and the video will get out to other people. And if you want to know whenever I produce a video, by all means subscribe to the channel. And whenever I put out a new video, you'll be notified. I try to do a video every couple of 3 days, so let's say 3, maybe 4 videos a week. That's my goal. Some weeks will be more, some weeks will be less, but that's the basic number. So subscribing will get, you'll get notified of that. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.